Now listen, like a good hyena here, I tend to buy singles with a very specific purpose in mind. I'm either deck building or upgrading a deck, but every now and then, I pick up singles because they're just too damn cheap to ignore. I've been in the game of Magic for years now, since the 90s, playing Commander regularly since 2013. Those were the good old days, brother, and that perspective gives you a bit of institutional memory. I recall when certain cards were extra pricey, and note when they tank. Sometimes it's a proliferation or reprint, sometimes it's just power creep, but I noticed, dude. So let's take a look at some of the best buys out there right now on the online stores as we speak. We're going to talk about why I think they're undervalued using that institutional memory. You can tell me how wrong I am in the comments. You go down there, you say, look, you idiot, you got it wrong here, buddy. But while you're there, like and subscribe, alright? And if you want to support the channel directly, check out the Patreon, brother. Let's talk about Dominer Remastered for a moment here. Very interesting set. You got a bunch of real bangers in there for Commander brewers. Lots of pricey tutors, you got Force of Will in there, Sylvan Libraries in there, Birds of Paradise, lots of generically useful cards. Right now it's $115 ship, factor in 8% tax, that's $30 or so for a draft buy-in with 3 other bros on a damn Saturday night. Very affordable, fun draft environment. If you just want to rip packs, see if you can pull a vampiric tutor or something. Even the bulk is nice and useful. I don't know, man, I think it's a good buy. Now contrast that with the Ravnica Remastered draft boxes, which are selling for about $169. This set has a little more value, pricier lands, serialized lottery cards, which frankly I think are kind of doo-doo. I think this box is a little overpriced, honestly, as it is with most of the newer sets, which is not to say there aren't some real steals and deals hidden a little further down the list. Like this thing, the Cloudstone Curio, 3 generic mana artifact. Whenever a non-artifact permanent enters the battlefield under your control, you may return another permanent you control that shares a permanent type with it to its owner's hand. This thing got a nice little reprint in Lord of the Rings, then back-to-back in Ravnica Remastered. Now a while back, about a year ago, this was a $40 card due to its lack of reprints and combo potential. 466 combos on Commander Spellbook. Now it's about $9 for the Dishpan Hands version here. Full art, and the others from this set are about the same. Now one card I always keep an eye on when it gets reprinted is Spark Double, 3 and a blue for a creature illusion. You may have this enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature or planeswalker you control, except it enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on if it's a creature, or an additional loyalty counter if it's a planeswalker, and it isn't legendary. This non-legendary clause is super important in a format built around a legendary creature in the command zone. Or if you have a Planeswalker commander, this is even better, because it's super unique. If you go back a year, this was $9, now it's under $4 for various versions. Also reprinted in Commander Masters recently, worth a pickup at that price. And speaking of Commander Masters, these draft boxes are $350, which is insane to me, but there are a bunch of real staples here. Craterhoof we got in there, like $22. Finale of Devastation and Smothering Tithe, $23. These are great reprints, but brother, I ain't spending all that money on cards, you know what I'm saying? It's not like it's cocaine, just kidding, dude, but that's not the Hyena way. The way of the Hyena is sniping low price cards after a reprint, keeping an eye out for undervalued gems using our superior intellect. Now one that I'm really shocked at, notably, the Dragon in 2024 is under $20, which is pretty wild, man. This was a $100 card for a while there, back in the old days. But you really gotta dig in this set to find the real gems. You gotta be like a truffle pig, buddy. Dig in the undergrowth. We got Mikaeus the Unhallowed and Razaketh, under $8. These are 2 powerful black creatures, monsters and reanimator decks. I mean, $8, it's a lot of scratch, but in the context of where these cards have been, it's not terrible. If you go back a year, these guys were way more expensive. Now I did want to briefly touch on Heroic Intervention, that's what she said. This card has had 7 real reprints. It's been in a couple Commander products and can be had for $6 or $7. So this is 1 in a green, instant. Permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. That's a lot for 2 mana. You got a bunch of different arts for this thing too. Sun Quan, Lord of the Wu-Tang Clan, dude. 4 blue legendary creature, human soldier. It's a 4/4. Creatures you control have horsemanship. They can't be blocked except by creatures with horsemanship. Now you know how many creatures have horsemanship that the other players are playing? None, dude. This is an old card. After this reprint, it's about $5. And you know what else is under $5? Kindred Dominance. 5 black for a sorcery. Choose a creature type. Destroy all creatures that aren't of the chosen type. A year ago, this was a $30 card, man. It's just a tribal staple. It's about $4 or thereabouts. That's nuts, man. And down in the bulk for this set, you got Kozilek, Neheb, Sliver Hive Lord, Stonehoof Chieftain. Fantastic bulk bangers in this set. Now Grenzo, this poor guy's been getting hammered with reprints. It's under $2 for the full art version and 26 cents for the Thunder Junction version. Just got reprinted in the Thunder Junction Commander. Nuts. Grenzo Havoc Razor, red legendary creature, Goblin Rogue. It's a 2/2. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, choose one. Go target creature that player controls or exile the top card of that player's library. Till the end of turn, you may cast that card, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast that spell. That's a lot of stuff right there for a 2-drop, man. Triggers off of any creature, so this can trigger multiple times per combat. Now let's take a look at one of my favorite sets from yesteryear, March of the Machine. I can't help but say this in Arnold's voice sometimes. March of the Machine. Bad Arnold impression incoming. $100 for a draft booster box, which is not bad. The set is stacked with powerful cards. It's insane how packed this set was, but the value kind of falls off pretty hard into $4 territory after the first 2 pages or so. Like these guys here, Sirac Goreclaw, Trample. Other creatures you control have Trample. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it. It gains haste until end of turn. This is nuts for 6 mana, man. Just goes in a ton of decks. I'm big on this card, $4 or so. Then you have City on Fire, $2 to $3 for this. If a source you control will deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals triple that damage instead. Now this is 8 mana, but it has Convoke. You can get that down pretty easily in a token deck. There is no downside to this, man. It's asymmetrical. Look at this guy out there, the Hoarding Broodlord, also 8 mana, also has Convoke with flying. When this guy enters the battlefield, search your library for a card, exile it face down, then shuffle. For as long as that card remains exiled, you may play it. Spells you cast from exile have Convoke. So that last part is a bit underrated in my opinion, especially with all the decks casting things from exile. This is a nuts card. It's under $2, man. The card you searched up is basically protected from hand disruption, and it has Convoke. I love this guy. And the set is full of these bulk beaters. If you're on a budget and you're building a big mana beater deck, you can't go wrong with the Ancient Imperiosaur. It's just a big old beater that gets cheaper in a token deck. And listen, this is kind of coming out of left field here, dude, but this Trumpeting Carnosaur, 4 red creature dinosaur, it's a 7/6 with trample. When it enters the battlefield, discover 5, dude. It also has this little discard ability. I don't really get why this is a $1 to $2 card, but whatever, man. This is a bulk banger in 2024. And turning our attention to a more recent set, the Murders at Karlov Manor Commander decks are all under $40 as we speak. Any of these is a good buy if you're just getting into Commander, but my favorite is a Revenant Recon. $37, and the most expensive. I mean, come on, brother. This is a Reanimator toolbox that is kind of unparalleled among precons today. This set also has a Jessica's Will reprint, this Trouble in Pairs card that had some art stolen and photoshopped together by some idiot. Kind of makes me nuts, you know, whatever. Wizards is hiring the bottom of the barrel artists, dude. This happens again and again. Just pay for good artists. Anyways, under $3 here, you got Adrix and Nev, Token Blasters, Twin Casters, and frankly, Sweet Fish Bros in the afternoon, dog. Then you got Coma, the damn Cosmos Serpent. How can you sleep on a Cosmos Serpent, brother? Is that a Cosmos Serpent in your pants or what? Then we got Twilight Prophet, buck and change. This card has really been hammered by reprints. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have the City's Blessing, reveal the top card of your library, put it into your hand. Each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is that card's converted mana cost. When a card gets hammered, the Hyenas scrabble it up. Now the real remarkable thing about this set, and I'm not 100% sure why, but there are real staples here under $1. Massacre Worm, Fiendish Duo, Chulane or Kulane or Hulin or whatever the heck his name is, Grave Titan, Sphinx of the Second Son, Gisela, Doom Whisperer, Grave Titan. These are all pricey cards and now they're just bulk box bangers hanging out in the depths of Karlov Commander product. They just slot into decks as generic value pieces. Now Doom Whisperer I'm especially surprised about because the stats on this thing are above what you'd expect for 5 mana. It's 6/6 with flying and trample. I mean right there, that's pretty dope, dude. Plus it's a graveyard deck's best friend. That ability can be activated as instant speed as many times as you want. Now looking at the Fallout decks, which was just like a month or two ago, feels like 7 years ago, the entire set can be had for $178 plus tax right now. But that's about $50 per deck for all 4 decks, $178, you know what I'm saying? Not terrible. That's about what these decks have gone for typically. The big deals with this set is Guardian Project and Branching Evolution, both under $4. Now some people may say they don't like the aesthetic on these cards, but that's not a concern for me, brother. If it's cheap, it's for me. Guardian Project is a real staple. Branching Evolution for $3 and change is a real banger if you have a +1 counters deck. And also in this set, under $3 is Pure Steel Paladin. This is another card that's been hammered by reprints lately. I love this art treatment, man. I know it's a little sci-fi for some of you people out there, but I love a man in power armor. Plus there's a couple nice reprints in there. Anguish Unmaking, Ruinous Ultimatum, fantastic pickups for only a couple bucks each. Now listen, man, I would love to sit here all day and talk about cards and cheap pickups, but I gotta do my skincare routine, brother. I gotta get back down to the basement, finish dissecting this guy. But listen, thanks for all the kind support out there. Thanks for being bros. I just want to pass on some of these deals. I actually picked up a Guardian Project today. That's what got me thinking about it. I love you all very much, my sweet menagerie. Sneaky G from Better Commander, signing off.